The shoulder strategy is important. And if we're looking at the death of Twitter, let's go by the numbers. Facebook, 3 billion users, right? They buy Instagram, that now has 2.5 billion users. Threads has 100 million users in 5 days. Twitter, in its history, currently has 450 million. At this pace, they're going to pass Twitter by the end of the summer. I'm not sure how you recover from something that is moving that fast. You don't.
You don't.
You don't. It's interesting. I mean, 6 or 7 months ago, we were not looking at Mark Zuckerberg, or most of the people weren't looking at Mark Zuckerberg in this fashion. It was boring. It was metaverse isn't going to work. You know, we saw high up execs leave, and there was a question of what will happen now. We saw the stock plummet somewhat. And again, he kept his poise through it all. This is even the stock, though the stock has moved up today, it's been more than that. It's been the layoffs. It's been the innovation.
Tremendous.
The layoffs have helped. The innovation has helped. The reassessing the metaverse has helped. That's helped the stock as well. But the poise is what's the most important thing. Is he the great? Is he one of the greats? For sure. I mean, this is one of those situations where you can see where poise actually helps inside of a business and reassessing. Now, I like the word copying. You use that word a few times. I like to say in business, he enhanced on what is working.
No, because if not, the copiers of us are going to start saying that. No, he copied.
I'm saying for him.
Gotcha. Okay.
No, people are gonna dead copy what they've tried that. Because he said, like, even when we go back to Vine, I remember the days when it was an 8-second video, and then it was like, wait, Instagram has something that's 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Right. And so, yes, the model was like, that works. Let's see, how can we enhance on it? Right. So now we add 15 seconds to it. Then eventually it goes up to 30, and then now it went up to 60, and then some people had unlimited. So he's enhanced on that, and that's a lesson that people can learn inside of business, right? Like we can see something that's working, and we can say, all right, like, how can we enhance this? How can we make this our own? How can we make it better, right? So when somebody tries to do this, it's like, yeah, okay, well, how are you going to make it better? What are you going to add? What's going to be your flavor? The other part it was, and I don't know if this was the timing of this, but it was immaculate. The announcement of Threads was immaculate, because if we're watching the landscape, what did Twitter do on Monday or Tuesday last week? They decided to limit people's numbers of posts.
Yeah,
they
data bill.
They wanted to cut back on spending, right? So it was like, all right, well, how do we do that? Limit the amount of posts that people could read, and if you pay, you can actually read and post more. What happens inside of that is a Spill comes, right? So Spill, right, black owned, very very similar to a Twitter, but people know that there was Black Twitter, right? And that was like a thing inside of Twitter. So we had
Black Twitter employees that left there to start that.
Exactly. And so Spill comes. And this is all in the same week and a half. 2 days after Elon and Twitter make that announcement, boom. I'm looking at Thread, and I'm like, wait, what is this? Mark Zuckerberg is posting on Instagram, hey, we're up to 5 million, we're up to 2 million, we're up to 10 million. I'm like, wow. He couldn't have picked a better time to make that announcement, because it was like, all right, well, people are tired of having just people run amok on Twitter and posting everything and these memes and these bots. And then there's clarity out of nowhere. Here comes this clarity. So the timing of it was just absolutely immaculate. So is it the Twitter killer? Man, I'm going to go out.
Like you ever play ball against somebody and they hit a three they hit a three from like 32 feet and you like, the coach is defeated. It may not be Twitter killer. It's the moment where it's like
it's that moment. It's like when Steph starts hitting threes and you're like, there's nothing I can do.
What can you do? What can you do?
He's gonna make that regardless. I did all I could here.
Yep.
It feels like one of those deflating moments. Yeah. Is it the death blow? There's a lot of capital, right? Like Elon, and we'll talk about some of the mistakes he's made. There's a lot of capital that it might be. I just don't know what you do, right? When he has a user base of over 3 billion people, you have 450 million, and you're losing a lot of those people. I don't know what you do to regain them.
And here's the thing that you have to consider too: when you let go of all of those people and not in the most favorable way, when you fire them, because people were saying, well, they can't go to Facebook. And here's the interesting part: Meta did not use the former Twitter employees on this project. Like from what I'm hearing, it's only 25 people currently working on Threads. So if they end up putting 100 people on top of that, the app is already significant. Like Threads end up being what Twitter should have been 5 or 6 years ago. For a little inside ball, from what I was told, Elon made some kind of egregious comment to Zuckerberg maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. And this is what, now I've been saying it for the entire year. Like Zuckerberg's been on the tear of innovating a lot faster. You can tell he kind of got that spark back, but this is kind of what pushed it to go over the edge. I think I said maybe 2 or 3 months ago, like he needed something to copy or clone, and he's done that tremendously. Like, letting go of the employees is one of the biggest reasons. Getting the expenses off the balance sheet is the reason why the stock went up. And then also listening to leadership, like regardless of if it's really interesting. Like he lost his focus for a while and got it back, and hopefully with this example, we can see Elon do the same. We was talking before we started, but it was really gross mismanagement by Elon to try and run 2 companies, but he had two. He cared more about being in the comments than actually fixing the companies. And we all get hyped up off of our own press, but you have to learn when you're competing against people, and you're competing against people that are like some of the best in the world. They're going to take those slights against you and go incredibly hard against you, and as a result, it caused him to lose his effectiveness in and Twitter, and they haven't developed the company the way that it should be. They haven't designed better. The employee base isn't happy. So it was a great move on Zuckerberg's part. But once they get to like 1.5 billion users, that's when I think they'll monetize. The throttling will come down, but Twitter needs to do an incredible overhaul of the site, the design, the interaction. Same as you. Like I think I made 5 posts. After my 5th post, I had half the number of people on Threads that I had on Twitter. And I've been on Twitter since 2019. Engagement is way better. So it's just a better product overall.
It's interesting. The other part, like, and you spoke about this, like he's been in front of Congress about privacy. All that got wiped away. And everybody just forgot about that. Like, I mean, so I saw that post where people are plugging, like, look at the terms of engagement now that you're on Threads, and it was like we're all cool with it. It's been pretty smooth sailing. I wonder though.
You have a choice.
Yeah, right. You have no choice. It's like you delete one, you're gonna have to delete both. Do you think? And this is maybe a lesson in business as well. Sometimes restructuring and taking a step back from a project like the metaverse and realizing that this could potentially be a loss or a failure, allowing you to refocus on something else, right? Because I remember, I mean, we were critical at the time when the metaverse and Sheryl Sandberg left the company and were like, wait, we're talking about the top level execs who have been here from day one. What's the impact going to be? As he's mounting all this at the same time, it's like, all right, let me focus, and here we go.
You retreat. I think in life you got to
retreat and regroup.
Retreat doesn't mean defeat. You abandon what's not working. The longer you keep something that's not working, you're just making it more difficult for yourself. Stop the bleeding. Stop the bleeding. Number 1 rule in life is stop the bleeding. Stop it before you bleed out. And everybody, they forget he tried to buy TikTok.
And the government blocked it, which is interesting. Onto your point, like, but there's no legislation you can put in for copying a product with the user bases they have and dragging them over, which is kind of brilliant. Because if the government is going to block you from buying TikTok, if you copy an inferior brand, what is legislators going to do? Nothing. So they kind of put his back against the wall and made him copy something else and take it over.
I feel like in business and in life, the person who wins is the person that's able to outthink the competition. It's chess. It's a thinking man's game. It's not an emotional game. So it's like, all right, you doesn't work out for the metaverse, get ridiculed, lose a lot of money, stock drops dramatically, try to buy TikTok, that gets blocked by the government. Okay. If they're saying that I'm going to create a monopoly and I can't keep buying social media platforms, then I'll just effectively copy social media platforms and use my influence.
Better. That's the point that people are leaving out. Like, it is a better product. And I'm not playing both sides of the fence because I was incredibly critical of metaverse.
Why is it better?
The user interface is better. The interaction is better. For the first couple of days, there were no bots on it. I may have to do like you and post privately why they I found out why they let the bots run. Cool. The engagement is better. It's the first social media that I've seen in a while. When it first came out, it was incredibly positive too.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen any gossip in like everyone didn't get like, not yet. Like I'm seeing Nikki on there, seeing Trap on there, like even in y'all posted and in my engagement, it's all positive feedback. There isn't like a bunch of jousting over brand positioning or like it was just a good vibe so far. And then also too, it kind of feels like when I first got on Facebook in 2005, there was an excitement for everybody to be on there. Instagram sometimes feel like you have to be on there. TikTok isn't as fun as it used to be. So I think just it being text-based, which we haven't talked about or not enough yet, but internationally, a lot of people can't post 4K videos on Instagram or watch them because the service is not there to be able to stream. But text is really easy and light on the service. So even in accounting mistakes and trying to cut costs, the reason why Twitter had to throttle how many tweets you can see was because he didn't want to pay that multi-million-dollar bill to Amazon Web Services, which is crazy enough. So now you're trying to pass that cost or you not paying that bill onto the users, and it makes the experience. Or if you pay for Twitter Blue, you can get access to all your tweets. But I'm like, most of Twitter's turned negative. Most of finance Twitter's got, like, even when I talked to Josh this weekend, he was like, I haven't been on Twitter in 2 years.
My graduates from my school being Forbes, bag drop.
Bag drop.
A mic drop, bag drop.
Bag drop.